10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this October 21st, 2019 evening. And Chris, another pro show is come and gone. Just when you think they're all over, we were complaining about how there were no European tour shows. Well, there's a lot of shows dispersed around the world. This one was in Seoul, South Korea, the Monster Zim Pro Show, and it was a controversial finale, Chris.
Yeah, it was. They're still going on. You still got people competing, and did this replace? They had a 212 here, which was very deep, even though there's only 6 guys, but they were all pretty incredible. There used to be the South Korea show immediately after the Olympia. It was a 212 show. It was the show where Hardy first crashed the scene.
Right.
And
where he almost beat Flex Lewis.
Yes. And is this the same people putting on the Open show with the 212?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would assume so, but they obviously this is a few weeks later now, and we have a men's Open show. Nathan De Asha coming off that loss last week. Right?
Yep.
And trying to redeem himself here and get that Olympia qualification early.
He did. And
he does. But you know what? The thing that kind of was, I wasn't there. I can't even find any video from the show. I see a few pictures. It seemed like the top 3 all look good. Nathan, Juan Morel, and Onwin. But so I go to the scorecards. I have to find data, right? So we can talk about the show. I haven't really talked to anyone who was there, but I didn't want hearsay. So I look at the scorecards, and the first thing I notice is that Juan was pretty much convincingly winning after prejudging. And then with Onwin in second, actually, and Nathan third. And then after the finals, I see the scores swap around. I see Nathan winning the finals, Juan second, Onwin third, and it winds up that there's a tie between Nathan and Juan. And somehow Nathan comes out ahead. Now, normally when there's a tie, I think the head judge breaks the tie. Or they go back to the thrown out scores, right? Something like that?
That they throw out the high. I think traditionally they
throw the high and low.
Throw out the high and the low.
Right. It's usually 2 and 2, but it depends on how many judges there are. So they usually go back to the thrown out scores to see who'll win. Now, I think if it's still a tie, I think the head judge breaks the tie or something. I believe that's the rule. Don't quote me on that. But you would think if Juan is winning in prejudging so convincingly, and Nathan's not even second, he's third, how does he win the show?
You mean like Juan would trip up a little bit in the 20 minutes after prejudging?
It wasn't that much time, right? It was the same day, wasn't it? It was all Sunday.
Oh, so it wasn't 20 minutes, 3 hours.
Well, it might have been a couple of hours, but come on, I'm sure Juan didn't get terrible in 2 or 3 hours, and Nathan.
Well, he can't spill because his metabolism's too fast, so he can only flatten.
Right, and not enough. I don't think enough to lose the show, right? I mean, come on.
I mean, I'm making fun of it, but if he saw the score sheets, then he's got to be scratching his head and thinking okay, how's that work? Because it's not a 2-day show, so it's hard to say, so-and-so was 10 times better the following day, which can happen. Right. People can change radically in a day.
You know what sucks also is that they actually gave away a lot of money. It was $15,000 for first place. Second place was, I think, $8,000. So that's a big difference. It's a big difference. Yeah. To after prejudging, you're in first place, and then you lose it in 2 hours. You just lost fucking $8,000. Whatever it is. $5,000. Oh, $7,000, right?
Yeah. So how much is that? No, you're losing $2,000 an hour. Well, actually, in Nathan's case, he was gaining like $3,000 an hour.
That was the best paycheck he ever got.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened. I have to find out. We got to get. Well, you know what? We should get Tim Gardner on the show. He was the head judge. Maybe he could tell us what happened.
He'll come on. I'm sure.
He could tell us what happened because we weren't there. So
it's I haven't quite seen like really good pictures yet. So many pictures are with iPhones that they're fuzzy, and someone you might think is really detailed.
Yeah.
On stage, you can't really tell.
I'm waiting to see video at least, because at least video you can kind of get when you see people moving in action, it kind of gives you a better idea of what's going on. Mm-hmm. So, I think we'll see the stuff. I just don't think that they put the stuff up yet. Oh, what's this? I see a 2019 Monsters in Pro second call out. Why would they have the second call out? Let's see what this is. Hold on. All right, this is the second call out. So these are the guys. These are the guys that didn't make the cut. Why they have a second call? They don't have a first call out.
Maybe the guy didn't have his camera ready for the first call out.
Maybe. It's kind of unusual. Yep, it's the second call out. I'm sure it'll be someplace. You know what? Let's see. I feel bad for Juan, because Juan really did look good. I thought he looked really good, actually.
Yeah, I thought he looked very good.
Not to say that Nathan didn't look good too, because Nathan looked good too.
I thought this was Nathan's. I mean, I'm going by the pictures, blah blah blah. But that's the only thing we can go by.
Yeah.
But I thought Nathan looked better here than he has the last 2 or 3 or 4 shows, and I thought Juan looked better here than he has essentially. Clearly better here than the Olympia. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. All right, I'm sending you a link. I found it. I found some video.
With the third call out or something?
No, I found the first call out.
Email or text, Dave. This high technology.
I'm emailing it to you. Isn't this amazing? We could do a radio show. We could actually check stuff.
We can
like
get
live.
results. It used to take when you were a kid and you would start a bodybuilding. It would take 6 weeks to find out who won the Olympia. Now in 30 seconds we can critique the Korean Pro show.
Right. Juan looks a little flat, but you know what? It's a weird camera angle, so it's hard to tell. I'm assuming this is probably the night show, or maybe this is the prejudging. All I know is Juan won the prejudging, so I don't know how he lost the overall. I don't know how he lost the night show. Maybe it was like Arnold's show. Maybe they were doing the posing round. Maybe they scored the posing round. That's how he lost. It's got to be brutal traveling all the way to South Korea. It's a long flight, too, for all these guys. Probably more so for Juan than for An. Although An's coming from the West Coast, which is probably shorter. Everyone looked a little flat to me.
Well, it could be the flight. Could be the flight, could be the lighting, could be the video guy, could be...
Well, this call out that we're watching is definitely Juan in the middle. They moved him over, and then they put him back in the middle. And they basically swapped him out for An, who was considered second. So after prejudging, it was Juan first, An second, Nathan third. Then somehow everything got changed. I don't know how it happened. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. Text Juan. He'll probably out.
I did text him. Who do you think? Of course I texted him, but he might be traveling now, Oh, what's this now? Hold on a second here. I think I found another one now. His top 5. This must be the first time they called him out. Then they had a final call out. This one, Nathan was in the middle first. Everyone's a little flat, I think. It could be the camera angle. I wish I would have been able to compete like in another country. It's got to be kind of weird, right?
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. I traveled to other countries, but I never competed. Maybe it would have just been crazy stressful. Who knows? Probably better off not doing it. It's interesting though, going to other countries, experiencing other. I'm sure the promoters really especially in the Asian countries, I'm sure the promoters really roll out the red carpet. I would have to believe. Don't you think?
Yeah, because they probably, any country that hasn't had a pro show. I mean, if you live in Long Island, it's no big deal to go to the New York Pro every year, and it's going to be there. And South Korea has had a 212 pro show, which my understanding is has been successful in the past. Mm-hmm. But to get like an open show on top of a 212 and get some good names, I wouldn't say tippity top names, but to get big names to show up, it's exciting.
After at the show last week that Cedric won, remember we were asking how come Juan wasn't there? He actually he actually texted me. He's like, I had to go someplace. He had booked some kind of a guest posing or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
right. You did mention it. You
So he said I would have been there. He goes, I would have been there. He's smart. He's going. He wants to do them all. He's in shape. Why not collect a few paychecks? He made $8,000 going there. So that's not bad. He should have won the show, but he won $8,000. So who's better than him? He'll do the one. Isn't there another one coming up in Romania? The one that Regan Grimes is doing?
Yep. There's Romania and there's Japan.
Oh, there's an open in Japan?
There's an open in Japan.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the Hide one, right?
Yeah. Hide won the 212 here.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
He stayed in shape. Well,
I think he looked better here than he did at the Olympia.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I think it was a good move for him to do this. He's qualified for the Olympia again now next year, so he doesn't have to even worry about it.
Yeah. There was only 6 guys, but they were all very good.
Yeah, 212 is a scary class because you don't know. There's a lot of guys that are just float under the radar, who are great.
Well, there's a lot of guys in tremendous condition who you never even heard about.
Right.
That's one.
Yeah. And
then 2, the people fly way under the radar. They're so under the radar, they're submarines. Seriously, they're just... There's so many people who don't have a, quote, marquee name who are dangerous.
Well, we know this Ahmad El Dasani from Kuwait is good.
Well, he's improved a lot, too.
Yeah. So,
in the last 2 years, yeah. That's the best he's been by a mile.
And then we have the Aziz Javar from Iran. I thought he could have won the show.
Well, he won the New Zealand Pro last year.
I remember.
And he was phenomenal there.
Yeah. I wonder why Hadi Shupin didn't come and do the show. He just jumped in. He could have won this shit on the open shows. He should have done the whole circuit.
Yeah.
These are countries he could actually go to.
Yeah, we think. Can he?
Yeah, well, there's the other guys from Iran is from here. Sammy Trudy was 4th here. He's been having trouble with conditioning. The last couple shows we saw.
Yeah, I hope the guy who got 5th who just switched from Classic.
Oh, Peter Costella from Hong Kong?
Yes.
Interesting.
He looked very good. Look at the pictures.
Yeah.
And I forget the Korean kid's name who got 6th has done really well in shows, and he ended up. He was
last place. Jun Ho Kim.
Mm-hmm.
I think they reversed his name, Kim Jung Ho. And then they had a bikini, which was won by Sarah Choi from Korea. It was all Koreans, and then just one girl from Sweden and Poland. But yeah, so the show's growing. This could become the key is to hold the show every year. That's what these people don't realize. If you hold it every year, it becomes a fixture, and then people start setting their sights on the show.
Yeah, I'm going to do the.
You can't have it right. You can't have it as 1 year. Right. You can't have it one time and then never hold it again. That's not how you build a show. You got to take your licks. Ask Tony Doherty how he used to beg these guys to come out to Australia. He would fly out to the Arnold every year and he try to get like 3 or 4 or 5 top guys. And now the show's a huge show. So that's how they got to start. And as soon as the show gets popular, Arnold will come in there with Jim Loram, and they'll be like, let's make this an Arnold. Arnold Asia.
Well, what happened to the Arnold Asia?
I don't think it worked too well. Yeah, they were holding it in Hong Kong. Did they ever hold it, or didn't they cancel it at the last minute?
No, they had it 1 year, because I think who won it? It was...
I don't remember. I
think Brandon won it.
I think he won South Africa.
I think the pre-Kuwait Brandon won it.
The pre-Kuwait. Funny. So, what's on the agenda next week now? Here, do we have?
I don't know. There's got to be something.
Are they off next week?
I think they're off, and then, let's see, 2 weeks is Romania, and I think it's 4 weeks.
Next week is next week is New Zealand Pro.
Okay, what's that, 212? Yes,
yeah,
I believe.
They got men's physique and bikini. That's Mosawi's probably show, and then you got the next week is also the Masters Baltimore Pro, which used to be an open there.
Yeah,
I think they got women's bodybuilding here. Women's bodybuilding, men's classic physique, bikini figure.
Do we have a classic pro next week?
It looks that way. Unless it's just Masters divisions. I don't know. It could be.
Oh, no. I contacted the promoter. No, it is.
Oh,
it
it's
is
just Masters?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, because someone I know, I said, hey, you should do the classic.
Gotcha. And then we have this is the following week. We have the Wings of Strength Romania Muscle Fest. Did you know that?
Wings of Strength Romania Muscle Fest. So it's the Wings of Strength people.
They're sponsoring the show.
I'm getting Wings of Strength. Who is Wings of Strength?
Who's Wings? Wings of Strength is right. Jake Wood, who put up all the money for the Olympia.
Okay, got it.
So he's sponsoring that. That's Tim Gardner. I guess Tim Gardner's running the show. In Bucharest. They got a big castle in the backdrop. So that should be fun. I wouldn't mind going there. I've never been to Romania. Have you?
No, I've never been to Romania.
Yeah, I'm all for going to new places. Although I'm not going anywhere. I'm landlocked. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere. They wanted me to go to Dubai at the end of the year. I said I'm sending Sid there. I said I can't go. It's too soon.
What's it called? The Dubai Muscle Show or
the Dubai, trade show they have there? They wanted me to come and interview all the people on the stage like last time, and I had a great time. And
you should go.
I can't go. Look, it takes a whole day just to get there and get back, right? So I'm already 2 days down. Okay, that's usually the most.
365 days in 1 year, and you're going to live another 30 years. So you got I
can't go. I got kids.
10,000 days left.
I got 3 young kids. It's my wife will have a nervous
breakdown. Tell the Dubai people to bring them.
Yeah, you want to put my son on an airplane for 20 hours? Are you crazy? Yeah, no. First of all, he won't even make it to Orlando to drive to Orlando to get to the airport for 3 hours. It's a very big commitment. I really enjoyed myself. I'm very happy my wife Amanda let me go last year because I did enjoy myself, and I do want to go back, and I will go back in the future. But my kids are just too young right now.
Sid may hit it out of the ballpark, and they may only want Sid back next year.
He'll do a better job he absolutely will do a better job than me. They just want me there because of my name. But the bottom line is that he'll do a great job, and we'll get the content up on the site, and he could be the announcer of the whole expo there.
Is he the Howard Cosell of the bodybuilding microphone?
Yeah. So hey, look, Howard Cosell never did the best interviews. He gave the most. It was the most hype and hoopla, though, right? Because it was the voice and the dramaticness of it, and that's what made it interesting.
You do a good hype. Let me let you.
You never saw Howard Cosell sit down like Barbara Walters and interview people. That's not what his best was. This is Howard Cosell. I'm at ringside here, and Ali just knocked out George Foreman. Ali, you predicted this, and that he gets you excited. That's.
Let's hear Howard Cosell, Dave Palumbo version interviewing Kai Green. Kai Green, 2019.
Remember Muhammad Ali would pull Howard Cosell's wig off to distract him? That's what Kai would be doing to him, to try to distract him from the questions. Kai, I want to know, how come we haven't seen you on the Olympia stage? Well, Howard, is this glued to your head? Kai, you're distracting from the question the fans want to know right now. Why won't you go to the Olympia stage? This is your destiny. Well, Howard, do you have to get that trimmed at a barber shop? He would completely be distracting the interview. That's just the way it goes. well, yes, this is Nasser Al-Sambadi. I would like to be interviewed by you because they don't take me seriously. They give me these bikini girls who don't even know how to pronounce my name. I speak 5 languages and they cannot even speak one language. It is a mockery of the sport. Well, Nasser, let's talk about the '97 Olympia.
When you had to go against Latzilla.
What?
When you had to go against Latzilla.
You.
That's what he called Dorian.
Backzilla, he called him. Yes, he is Backzilla. He only has one body part, yet he has no arms. He is missing one bicep. He has torn his tricep, and he has no. His forearms are bigger than his biceps, and his proportion is all off. And they do not give me the call-outs, and the fans know that I have won the show. Well, Nasser, sometimes it comes down to being at the right place at the right time. Yes. I think I
Isn't
need
it
some
funny,
oxygen.
Dave, how does Egypt have the best bodybuilding genetics?
They
You got Nasser, Ramy, Mohammed Bakawi.
Yeah. The
You know,
new guy too. That was the new guy.
Hassan Mustafa.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of muscle there.
Yeah. Doesn't George pretend he's from Egypt too?
No, he speaks to Ramy with an Egyptian dialect.
Oh, he's got the Egyptian dialect. I figured maybe he lived there a little bit. That's why he had it.
No.
Unbelievable. But how do you think Reagan is going to do with this? They're hyping him through the roof because I guess he's really pushing on his social media. I don't know who else is going to be in the show. I don't have a list yet, but I'm sure it's not going to be a walk in the park for him.
I mean, he looks good. Pictures I've seen, a couple of pictures I've seen.
How would he have done at the show this past weekend?
He would have been. It's a good top 3.
Top 3, yeah.
You know, based on the lineup and based on his physique and based on his height and width. That's a great question. I would say top 3.
It'll be interesting. I hope Juan does that show too.
Bodybuilding shows always boil down to the lineup. They boil down to 2 things: your own personal best and who you're standing next to.
True.
And that's how some people sneak into the Olympia with, they compete in shows that didn't have a ton of depth. But you can go to, a show, a New York Pro, a Cal Pro, and, year to year, the lineup changes. It's different. I mean, we were talking about this, me and someone today, about the Olympia lineup in terms of, the quote being not a lot of depth this year, and a lot of people not being at their personal best. So, I mean, and that's the Olympia. So how is the, Japan Pro going to be, or the Romanian Pro? Depends on who's in it and who's at their very best.
A lot of people don't remember, though, notoriously, that European tour that was always after the Olympia, where they did like 10 shows in 7 days or something like that. Yeah. The guys weren't in the greatest shape. No one really held their conditioning well. There would be like one guy that looked good or something like that. Everyone was holding water and a little off, right?
Yeah, I mean, depends on the year, but yeah, I mean, I've been on the tour where people just faded like crazy.
And then there was some times guys were great, right? What was the Cutler look really good? 99?
2000 tour, I went with him.
Oh, right.
He looked phenomenal on the tour.
And Levroni looked crazy in the 98 tour after he came in, fourth and fifth.
Yeah, he did. He won, I think, like 8 out of 9 shows.
Yeah, he missed his peak for the Olympia.
Yeah, he did. He missed it for the Olympia, and he nailed it like heavy duty for the tour.
Yeah, that was the year he shaved his head, right, for the first time.
Yep, and he got beat at the last show by Coleman, and when he won like 7 or 8 straight, and then it was maybe Dave, was it 97? It was 97.
No, I think he won.
No. You know how I know it was 97? Because 97 at the Olympia was a 2-day show. I think it was the first 2-day show. If I'm not, I would have to ask John Hansen. And Levroni looked like water retentive to the max for prejudging. for the night show or the second day, he came out and he was like night and day. If you think Nathan De Asha can move up 3 spots in 20 minutes, I mean, he looked nuts. And then he went on the tour, and he won every show. And then, you get the news. Who won? LeBron. Who won LeBron? Who won LeBron? The next day. And then the last show, who won? Coleman.
Oh, that's when he beat him in Russia for the first time.
Yes, and there was big money.
When he gave him the when Levroni told him to have a drink in the room.
He said, "Hey, there's a couple things you should know about."
Yeah, take this coffee and pour some alcohol in here. Pour some vodka in this coffee.
Yeah.
Ronnie drank about 10 of them. Woke up and won the show.
Yeah, and that was it.
But Levroni did win a lot of the tour after the '98 Olympia too. Not all of them. I think Ronnie did a few of them, and then Levroni cleaned up. But I remember
Levroni had to win. Yeah,
right.
Was he the winningest pro before Dexter took over?
He beat out because what's his name? Vince Taylor was the most, and then he took him out.
And who has the most?
Oh, no, you're right. It was 97. He won all those tours.
Who has the record for most competitions? Is it Milos?
Probably. Who knows? Either him or Darren Charles, I would think. Darren was competing like a maniac, too, for a while. Then he switched to men's classic physique, and he did a bunch of... Remember he did every show that first year?
Yeah.
And he won almost all of them, too. He probably has more pro wins than it. He's probably up there on the list, I bet you.
Yeah, no, he's got a lot of wins.
Levroni has a lot, though, too. Guys just don't compete that much anymore. That's the problem. I got a good story. I was reading this article someone sent me about cockroach milk. Do you know about this?
Cockroach milk.
Yeah.
No.
There's one species of cockroach in India. Always in India, right? How come all the cool stuff's in India all the time? They got Burmese pythons there. They got all the cool stuff. We don't have cool stuff. Probably if we had cool stuff, we'd be getting... I have a client who I have several clients, Indian clients, and they're always getting dengue fever. We don't have to worry about that here, right?
No, we don't. We're lucky.
So I guess if you want cockroaches that produce milk, you have to deal with dengue fever too. All right, anyway, so they found in this one cockroach, the Pacific beetle cockroach, the only known cockroach that gives birth to live young. Did you know that?
That gives birth to what are the
live young?
Eggs?
They don't lay eggs. They give birth to live young.
Oh well, if they make milk, that makes sense.
And to feed their offspring, the roach produces a milk-like substance with protein crystals, which have 3 times the energy. I don't know what that means exactly. Of buffalo milk. So,
how about cow's milk? Why they compare it to buffalo milk?
I don't know. Because maybe they don't have cows. Oh, they have plenty of cows in India.
Yeah, that's right.
They're saying the crystals are, quote, the crystals are a complete food. They have protein, fats, and sugars. If you look into the protein sequences, they have all the essential amino acids, said one scientist from the team Sankari Banjari. And this was reported in the Times of India. Maybe Blackman should start publishing in India. They obviously still read newspapers there. What's also fascinating is that the milk crystals release protein not all at once, but in accordance with their speed of digestion. So that they're basically saying that it's like a time release.
You stay in a positive nitrogen balance if you're a beetle.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing about this is that they found that they can, obviously, they're not going to be milking cockroaches, right, to produce, protein. Protein, but they can take the gene out of the cockroach very easily, and they could put it into bacteria who can then express it, and they can create this amazing cockroach milk that's supposed to be so nutritious. And then they could powderize it, and they can make a protein powder out of it. And they're saying that this is going to solve world hunger, because I guess they can do it. I don't know. This is the it seems to be the new strategy to solve world hunger. So rather than try to, send all the wheat that we grow in this country over to these other countries, they can actually...
corn.
Corn.
We turn corn into gasoline.
They're going to synthesize cockroach milk.
Ethanol.
I'll tell you one thing. If they can do it, I'll drink it. I'll even sell it maybe. They got to come up with a better name. Chilean sea bass is not really Chilean sea bass. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know that. You told me that.
Yeah, it's got a weird name for the. Let me see what that's called. Now that I got my Google handy, it's called like the something fish. The Patagonian toothfish.
Yeah, would
you eat a Patagonian toothfish if you were in a freaking restaurant? No way.
No, I'd much rather have Chilean sea bass.
Me too. So no one's gonna eat cockroach milk. Okay, let me tell you that. So we got to rename it. What can we call it?
Well, milk and magnesia is already taken. You got.
Definitely don't put a cockroach on the outside of the container. That's for sure.
Well, you can make it into ice cream because it's going to be lactose free, I guess.
Yeah. So here I found the rest of the article. Researchers have now sequenced this cockroach milk, and they're hoping to get yeast to produce the crystal in large quantities, making it slightly more efficient and less gross than extracting the crystals from the cockroach's guts, obviously. So this seems like this is gonna be a big thing in the future. So make sure everyone, you say you heard it here first. Like I said, if it becomes available, or if anyone out there is going to be making cockroach milk, okay, and you guys, that's how I got my macadamia nut oil, for Species Nutrition. I put it out there, and someone contacted me and said their uncle owns a macadamia nut ranch. Good friend of mine. Mm-hmm. Now, so maybe someone is working on this cockroach milk powder. So give me a buzz. Let's make a Species. First perfect name, right? Species. We'll call it like something like an insectivore or something like that.
Species. Beetlejuice. No, cockroach is not a beetle. Is it a cousin of a beetle? Looks like a beetle.
No.
And juice has a pun on anabolics.
See, if it was a spider, it would have been a little bit more appealing because of the whole Spider-Man thing. But there's no real cockroach superheroes, right? Even ants would have been better than cockroaches. Cockroaches are just, it's almost like rat. Like, would you want to drink rat milk? It's like it's not appealing. It sounds uncleanly for some reason. It just sounds dirty, right?
Well, we give Aaron a call. Maybe he can come up with a protein powder infused with anabolically advantaged.
I'm waiting for them to find like some anabolic hormones in some insects. They got to have them, right? So people be
of course
mainlining fucking cockroach fucking testosterone or something like that. It's like 25 times more potent than. Because think about it. Think about how powerful these insects are, right? You see these ants. They can lift like 100 times their body weight or something like that. They got to be juicing big time, right? Wouldn't you think? They're going to be producing some serious fucking hormones in their body if they're pushing that kind of weight.
Why can't the ant lift 1,000 times his body weight?
No, it's a good question. I'm telling you, they're probably producing some super substances we haven't isolated yet. Everyone's always like, what the fuck do we have insects here for? What a pain in the ass. Now, we know where we have honeybees because we need to pollinate, right, the trees, but what about the other fucking stupid things? I understand maggots break down all the dead matter, but we have way too many insects here. There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason why the universe provided us with all these insects. They must have some secret, chemicals inside of them that we haven't isolated yet. I bet you, like in 100 years, people will be taking like little mini shots of like cockroach blood, like to rejuvenate themselves and like regrow organs and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, what do people take the sting themselves with bees for what, pain therapy or
yeah,
something?
supposedly. I almost got my father to try that. I was like, Dad, supposedly for chronic pain they did bee stings. They're doing.
He stayed with the oxys.
Yeah, he stayed with the oxys. He stayed with the oxys. The funny thing was, as my dad began to lose his memory, his pain went away. He forgot about his pain.
No, of course. Yeah,
which always makes me believe, was he in pain, or was he not in pain?
Oh, yeah.
Was it psychological pain he was in? And once he forgot about
emotional pain, probably emotional pain.
Once he forgot about his problems or his perceived problems, he wasn't in pain anymore. He was barely on anything at the end, to be honest with you. It's crazy. But, our thoughts definitely shape our reality. And if you live in a negative world, you're going to have a lot of negative things happen to you. That's just the way it goes. Right?
That's an unbroken rule of the universe. It's perspective. I mean, to some degree, to a large degree, things are perspective.
Well, it's a huge degree. I mean, people there's so many people who are miserable out there, and there's no reason for it.
Do you think there's more miserable people? If 50-50.
Look, I've just from life, since I've lived a lot of life. Okay, we all have. I've noticed a lot of mentally. I always say, look, I don't know how I'm going to die. Eventually, we're all going to die, right? I don't know how I'm going to die. I hope I don't lose my memory. That I know you and I are afraid of that because our parents, both our dads, did that. But it's weird. But there's a lot of people that live with mental illness on a regular basis. Like bipolar, schizophrenic.
It's remarkable,
right? And you have clients, I'm sure, that fit that mold. I do, and
I have clients and I have tenants.
I feel bad for them. Yeah.
And
by the way, am I allowed to congratulate you on the picture you sent me?
I don't know what I sent you.
Your memory.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
I will say that on this topic, I can remember my wife working. She was managing a grocery store with a huge pharmacy in it, and I went to visit her one day, and the prescriptions. So she'd work in like the meat department,
Right.
focus on that one week. Then that's when she first started. Then she'd switch to this department, produce department, and then switch to the pharmacy. And the pharmacy prescriptions for products that support people with various degrees of mental health issues. The amount of prescriptions written in a day were in the thousands.
Wow. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I mean, real. I don't know if it's easier to diagnose now, and it was back 40 years ago. It was not as well known, and there was far fewer pharmaceutical quote solutions to mental health. But I know if I'm dealing with it seems like tenants that there's an enormous amount of people taking enormous prescription drugs to help cope with different things that they need to cope with that fall under the umbrella of mental health issues.
I feel bad for them. I really do, because you know what? There's nothing worse than having a mood that you don't know what's to expect.
I totally agree.
And you know what? I might not sleep. I might be losing my memory a little bit. I think that's from not sleeping. But, I might have pains. I might have shoulder replacements. I might have defibrillators. All the fucked up things that I have. But at least I have a stable. When I wake up in the morning, I'm just as stable as when I went to sleep at night, And I feel that's something that I can depend on. And it's terrible when you don't know how you're going to feel. I have a lot of friends that are just chronically depressed, and they take antidepressants and stuff like that. And I feel bad for them because it does screw your mood up. And when you feel depressed, you don't feel like doing anything. And you can't explain, like, if you don't feel depressed, it's impossible to explain to someone how you feel. And I think a lot of people, it's very frustrating. And so, how do you get up and get motivated to go to the gym when you're depressed? I mean, you wind up sleeping in bed, and some people resort to doing, like stimulants and stuff like that. But it's not a good thing. Thank God, people make fun of Big Pharma and the pharmaceutical companies in this country. But you know what? There are drugs that are some people really legitimately need prescription drugs, to feel normal or to stabilize their moods or whatever the case may be. So I think in a lot of cases, prescription drugs are something that's wonderful. I do think that the doctors overprescribe them. Someone gets stubs their toe and can't go to the swimming or something like that on Monday morning, and then they put them on an antidepressant for it. But I think for people who have legitimate problems, I think that they're really good. Someone asked me, what were they asking me? What were we talking about? They said, can I take, what drug was it?
Will it interfere with my condition?
Yeah, they wanted to know.
Will it hurt my condition?
Yeah. I forget what drug it was. Because some of the antidepressants, they do make you gain weight, you know. So what I recommend you do is don't just stop taking the stuff. If your doctor prescribes something for you, like Wellbutrin, for instance. Wellbutrin is a good antidepressant, but it will make you gain weight. There's other ones you can use that won't, however. So if you do need antidepressants or something like that, mood stabilizers, talk to your doctor. Explain to them what you do. If you're a bodybuilder and you compete, you might have to play around with a couple different drugs. Because this is what happens. The doctors prescribe what the drug companies deliver to them. In other words, the drug company reps come in to a doctor's office, psychiatrist's office, and he says, look, we got this great new drug. Here's 1 million samples. Give it out to your patients. And guess what? If you prescribe, so-and-so these, we're going to send you on a cruise, that kind of thing. So the doctor doesn't know. The doctor's like, all right, let's try this new one. And we'll try it on maybe it's better than the other ones. It sounds like on paper it's better. The drug rep guy gave me a good spiel. I believe it. And then he's prescribing all this new company's drugs. So there's 1 million drugs out there for antidepressant. You got to discuss it with your doctor. That's the key. I have other people, I have clients who are on thyroid medications. And then, for shows, let's say they take Cytomel, which is T3. After the show, they go off, right? 3 months later, they get blood work done, their thyroid is low. Now, their thyroid might have been low before that. A lot of these clients that I have, at least, I knew they had a low thyroid. And I'm like, look, you got to go to the doctor and get dosed on thyroid medication because you have a low thyroid. Or your thyroid is not working anymore. And a lot of these people are resistant. They're like, no, I'll just take my own stuff. I'm like, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. When you have a legitimate medical issue, okay, you don't self-medicate. Because then what happens is if you can't get the stuff, what happens? You crash. And when your thyroid is low, you have the same symptoms of clinical depression. So a lot of people who think they're clinically depressed, they go to a psychiatrist, they get prescribed antidepressants, they really just have low thyroid hormone and they need to be put on Cytomel or Synthroid. So it's important that you get blood work every week. Every couple months. And you got to go to the real doctor. And you know what? Another thing that's driving me crazy, Chris, is there's people out there that have no health insurance. Can you believe it?
Yeah, of course.
In this day and age, we've talked about Victor Martinez with the no health insurance. What's wrong with people? Bodybuilders need health insurance.
It's too expensive.
Yeah, but you know what? It's an insurance policy. If you can buy GH for $25,000 a year, you can pay for a health insurance policy. Because you know what? If you tear your bicep, it's going to cost you $25,000 to fix it. And that's assuming nothing goes wrong. Right?
Yeah.
That's assuming you can leave the hospital the same day. If you get stuck there for a week or two, the bills can go up to $150,000, $200,000. So make sure you have health insurance if you're going to be a bodybuilder, especially at the elite level. You got to be nuts not to have health insurance. That's one thing I never skimped on. I used to pay for it out of pocket. I always found a way to get health insurance, because I knew.
Well, you need health insurance because you could slip on ice and
look at Branch Warren Tour Squad.
I was just going to say Branch Warren Tour, slipping on ice. Anyone can.
Yeah.
Slip and crack your head open.
Yeah. And even if you're like a cash guy like Victor, how many guys actually are sitting around with $25,000 in a safe, that they're just going to pass off to the doctor? It's not going to happen. So what's going to happen is you're going to get a shitty doctor, okay, if you're not willing to put the money up like Victor was. Victor was smart and got the best. But, a lot of people will go Medicaid. They'll get a shitty doctor. They'll do a shitty job on them, and that's the end of it. And their whole career is ruined. So don't skimp on health insurance. And if you have health insurance, it's going to make you much more likely to want to get blood work every couple months because you're going to be like, well, it's not going to cost me anything,
Well, the way health insurance works is if you that's the way things work. If you don't have it, something happens, and if you have it, you feel like you're wasting money. You're like, God, I never use it.
Yeah, but you know what?
Wasting it.
It's like my generator I have in my house, Chris. Everyone's like, yeah, you're going to get a generator. You're spending all this money. You'll never lose electricity. I'm like, you know what? If I don't lose electricity because I got the generator, then it was well worth the money I spent on the generator. I don't want to lose electricity to prove that my generator, I got a generator and no one else on the block has electricity. I'm getting it as a deterrent. It's like when we used to set up the missiles pointing at Russia. No one really had any inclination that we were going to push the button and launch the missiles. But Russia pointed missiles at us. We pointed missiles at them, and we basically figured no one's gonna fight with each other if we get the missiles pointed at each other. It's a deterrent. That's all. We don't want to have to push the button, but if we have to, we got them there, right? So
that's the way it works.
That's the way health insurance works. You don't want to have to use health insurance, but if it's there and something happens, great. I tore my quad. How many times did I get that surgery on that? If I didn't have health insurance, forget it. I would have been done. It would have cost me $500,000. My two shoulders, another couple $100,000.
You have $1 million.
I'm done. Yeah, someone said you're the $6 million man. Yeah,
$5 million. But
I always wanted to be the $6 million man. I don't need any more surgery. And I probably will need another surgery.
What do you got the other knee, right? Or
no, the other knee's fine. Don't. I had the bone growing.
Well, it was the bone growth.
No, I told you I have my aorta is enlarged. Who knows? I might have to get that replaced at some point down the road. That's a major surgery. I always, when I was a kid, I never had anything wrong with me. I got my appendix taken out at 17. I was like, whoa, an operation. Who has an operation in their teens, right? Yeah. And after that, I thought I'd never have to worry about it again. I didn't really have another operation until I had some arthroscopic done in my 20s, And I think, well, that's not really real surgery, right? Because they just put some holes in your shoulder. And then all of a sudden, all these procedures. Now I'm an expert. It's terrible when you go to the hospital and you feel too comfortable there.
Yeah.
When I went back to get the other,
no problem. Here.
When I went got the other, when I got the other shoulder done, like. They were like, they were talking me through. I'm like, look, I did this already. Just can we get this over with?
No, you've done this. Let's see. Can you pause for a minute before you give me that anesthesia? I got to send Chris 2 more texts, and then we get the radio show late tonight when they come back after
the best was when they do a shoulder replacement, they put a nerve block in, and when they put the nerve block, you're still kind of awake. So they tell you basically, look, first of all. I said, get me nice and loopy before I get before you put the nerve block in. They give you that I forget what they give you that relaxes you. And the doctor's like, give him a double dose. So I was feeling pretty good, but I'm like, but he's like, all right, you're gonna have to move your arm this way. I said, is this gonna hurt? He goes, well, yeah, your arm is probably gonna flail around, when I put it in there. And I come close to the nerve. I said, I'm not really feeling comfortable with that idea of my arm flaring around. He's like, don't worry about it. You're not going to remember it. I said, but I'm going to remember it right now. He goes, you're not going to remember it. And sure enough, when I woke up from the surgery, I don't ever remember my arm flailing around. I'm sure it did, but I don't remember it. So these little anesthesiologist guys, they got it down pat, right?
Yeah. They get paid the big bucks. They get the big insurance too. Talking about insurance.
That was the only thing. That was the only thing I was concerned about. And the funny thing was, I was concerned about the one thing that I actually wasn't going to remember. So the rest of the surgery, I had no problem with. I got out of surgery. They're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh," I'm like, "I know the whole process. Just get me to my room."
Yeah. Give me to my room so I can.
I got to answer emails. Can you get me my phone and my contact?
Give me to my phone. I knew you were going to say. Give me to my phone. I got to send out 3 snake orders, and I got to update some bodybuilders' diet in Pakistan.
Yeah, these guys are like, wow, didn't you have surgery today? I'm like, yeah, it's all right. I'm answering emails. It's okay. Luckily, I had planned it so that most people I wasn't going to get a lot of emails, but I was on the ball. So.
Well, you had to send the email out, dear, people. I am going into surgery. Do not email me. And they do what?
They email
you anyway.
Double the emails. I got.
Yeah. Dear Dave, I know you're in surgery right now, but I just had a question about my, water manipulation, 3 weeks from now. Do you think I'm going to be cutting sodium or adding it?
Right, exactly. I did a rant this past week on GH. Because you know how people always say, oh, the Lilly GH is this, and the Serona GH causes more fluid retention. This one makes
you hold less water than that one.
It's like saying this brand of aspirin relieves headaches, and this brand of aspirin relieves fucking butthole pain, and this one thins your blood. Fucking aspirin is aspirin. GH is GH. I had to do the rant. It was driving me crazy because I had one more person say, "Should I get the Lilly? It's $10,000 more, but I heard that you don't hold water with it. I said no, because that lily.
I heard Dorian used it in '93, and that's why he got so dry.
Yeah. Or this, I heard this GH. It's generic, but you get no side effects from it. I said, yeah, you get no side effects because there's no GH
fake.
in there.
Yeah.
Really? Well, test it. I have a GH tester on my website. Actually, speaking of the testers I sell, I sell these Roid test kits where you can actually test your anabolics to see if they're real. It'll tell you exactly what you got. And then I also they have a new GH testing kit I have on there too. You can test and see if your GH is real. But a lot of the people was concerned because they're like, all right, well, I can tell if I have testosterone now, but what's the strength of it? I said, well,
yeah, that's a key question.
Yeah, well, we couldn't do anything about that because we can only test for the compound. Now, coming soon, don't harass me. I don't want to get emails. I'll let you guys know when I get it. Probably within the next 6 months or so, we're coming out with a new Roid test that's going to actually enable you to determine how strong the stuff is, what the milligrammage is. Isn't that amazing?
Oh, that you're going to retire on.
Yeah, well, I wish I created it. I didn't, but I'm selling. The funny thing is, I sell more of these things than the guy who created it does, because I have we have a.
Well, Amazon didn't create Nikes, but they sell more Nikes than any other store.
That's absolutely true. Speaking of Nikes, I can't get a freaking pair in my size. I told you that. I finally get a pair in my size. I buy the most expensive ones because I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. I want a size 15. I want I guess the new one. I used to get the Nike Shocks. Remember Nike Shocks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They don't make them anymore. Now they have the Vapor Max, I think it's called. It's pretty much the same thing. So I ordered a shoe in black. This way, I always order black. This way I can wear it with anything pretty much.
Yeah, of course. It goes with that.
And it comes like in a mesh. Now, it looks cool, and it's the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn. But the tongue, the tongue of the shoe?
Yeah. Irritates your foot?
Can't they? You would think by now they would have figured out how to get rid of the tongue already, right?
Tongue. Yeah.
The tongue is also made of mesh. So when you pull on it after a couple times, it rips. So now my tongue is hanging by a thread on one shoe.
And what did you pay for the shoes?
Now listen, the shoes were like $190.
Well, that's not too bad.
It's still expensive. Now when I ordered it, by accident, I ordered 2 pairs. So I actually spent $380. So I get the 1 pair, I wear them. 2 days, the tongue rips. Almost completely off. I'm like, fuck this, I'm sending it back. And Nike is very good like that. If things rip or break, they guarantee it. So I send back the pair of shoes. They refund me. They're supposed to send me another pair. They said we had 1 more left. They never sent me. So I had to get them to refund me. So now I got 1 pair left, right? So I'm like, I'm so gingerly pulling this tongue. You still have to pull the tongue to get it, from bunching up, right? The thing is on its last legs. It's almost completely ripped off. So I don't even tie my shoes. I basically slip my foot into this $190 shoe every morning, like with the most gingerly way I could possibly do, so I don't rip the tongue. Because once the tongue rips off, it'll be irritating the crap out of my foot, right? So I get this $190 pair of Nikes that looks great. It's the most comfortable shoe I wear, but they got this tongue that doesn't work.
And you can't tie them. You're gonna break it.
I can tie them, but I can't pull the tongue. So I have to I have to slip it on, and without the tongue, if the tongue gets bunched up, I'm screwed. Because if I pull the tongue, it's gonna rip. And I don't want to send it back because they have none left in my size, and I won't have any shoes to wear then. Because I can't find something that fits me that I really like. I have a couple pairs that are okay, but the shoe is so comfortable. I don't want to stop wearing it. So I'm wearing this shoe that's like falling apart. And the funny thing is it's an expensive shoe, and everything about the shoe is amazing. I can't believe that when Nike tested these things out, they didn't say, "What the fuck are we doing? We're selling this great fucking $200 shoe, and the tongue is defective." I mean, all you have to do is wear it twice, and you know the tongue is defective. Now, I'm a little
you don't have just a defective pair.
No, because that's why I sent the other ones back, and it happened again to the second pair. No, it's made of mesh. It's not meant to be pulled on. But everyone pulls the tongue, right? How do you put the fucking shoes on if you don't pull the tongue out? It bunches up and it starts irritating the top of your foot.
Maybe you have to come up with your own sneaker. You can partner with, what's the sneaker, the bodybuilding sneaker? Automix.
I have a pair. I'm going to start wearing my Automix. The problem with the Automix, and I think Jay Cutler actually is the one who was involved with that company, right over there.
Of course he is.
They got
He's
me
involved with everything.
They got me a pair for free. They sent me a pair, and I wore it for. The problem is Automix has there's no support. It's like you're wearing your socks, basically.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah, they're very comfortable. But the problem is that I have terrible feet. I have, flat feet, and I have my orthotics in there, and I need an arch support that's a little higher in the back. I don't like these shoes that are lower in the back. Like some of these new basketball shoes, they're lower in the back. Like, I don't know. I get like knee pain and stuff like that. I need a shoe that's built up, like almost like a runner's shoe in the back. I have problems, Chris. I have a lot of problems. I know my needs though, and I know that the shoe is defective, and I can't believe that Nike has put out the shoe. So I'm waiting for the next generation of the shoe to see if they fix the tongue. I know we have a lot of sneaker fans who listen to the show, so if you guys can make recommendations, and don't send me recommendations if they don't have a size 15. So check out your recommendations before you send me the link, okay? And I don't want any shoes that are pink or anything like a crazy color. I want a shoe that I can customize it so I can make it all black. Mm-hmm. That's my requirements. I want an all black shoe, sneaker. I want a Nike because they fit me well. And I want something with a higher arch in the back. I don't want it to be slanted backwards. I have a lot of requirements, and it needs to have a tongue that I can pull on without it breaking.
You're picky. That's what you are.
I told you, the best shoe I ever got when I went to Dubai in 1996. They took us to the Nike outlet there. They gave us all free shoes. That's when at that point I thought I made it. I'm like, holy shit, I'm a professional athlete. I got a free shoe. Free Nike. I said, I should live in this place. They loved the bodybuilders here. This was back before they even built all the crazy buildings. They just were very bodybuilding friendly there. The Sheik or the Sheikh was a bodybuilding.
Maybe they're friendly to everybody. Were they friendly to everybody?
Yeah, they took us all there. It wasn't just me. Milos, me, Laura Bass. Who else was there? I think Edgar Fletcher. They took him. He was at the Asian whorehouses most of the time. We didn't see him very much. He didn't want to socialize with us. But Milos was great, and Laura was awesome. And there was another guy. There was a Lebanese guy. I forget his name.
The smaller pro at the time.
He wasn't a pro. He was an amateur, but he knew everyone there. He was almost like our guide. Really, he was helping us navigate, the situation over there because he kind of spoke the language. He was cool. He looked like, you remember that bodybuilder Jessup Wilcox?
Yes.
He looked like him a little bit. He had a beard.
That's Arnold. Yeah.
So I had a good time when I went there. I have whole stories about that. It was a different Dubai, but it was a great Dubai anyway. So I have history there.
Too.
Yeah.
What's that?
I have history with Dubai. I like Dubai. It's a great city.
You can't go now. You can't go.
I can't go. I'll go again. I got plenty of years left to travel. Once my kids are a little older, once they're in school. Like if you didn't go and have another kid, you were set. You were done with babysitting duties.
I told you I've been here 3 days with my kids, and then my wife's going away again in 2 days.
I don't know how you're doing. I can't believe she actually will trust you because you'll leave the kids in like Walmart. You forget about it.
Well, when she had gone somewhere when I was.
Have you left the house since she left?
Yes.
Oh,
no. I thought you were going to say, have you ever left the kids in the house and forgot they were there?
I know you did that, but have you actually? So you haven't left the house since she left?
Yeah, I get them out.
You do? You put them all in the car?
All in the car, get out of the house.
Now, which one? You only have two that need a car seat, right?
Two that need a car seat, and then two teenagers, which is a challenge by itself.
Yeah, but they're pretty self-sufficient at this point.
Yeah.
But you still got to keep an eye on them. You go into a store with those guys, with all four of them, all four boys, and you're in trouble. So what do? You carry the baby around with you?
Carry the baby in the car seat, and yell at the 6-year-old, stay right by my side.
You gotta like almost leash him to yourself. You gotta put him on a leash.
And then, I say
wife's
someone's going to steal you. Stay right by my side, or someone will steal you. They will steal you and send you to a foreign country. That's what I tell them.
Yeah, my wife wouldn't let me go.
And he gets scared. He stays right there by my side. And then the other two, they're self-sufficient. But,
they're probably watching over the two babies more than you are.
well, sometimes I have to call them in, and
you're probably on your phone half the time, I'm sure.
Yeah, if somebody calls me and they're like 3 days out from a show, it's like, okay, someone take all the kids, get kidnapped and sent to a foreign country. It's okay, someone's got a water retention problem 3 days out.
We went to Golden Corral. We hadn't gone there in a while because my wife figures we got to go to a restaurant. I can stand and hold the baby. She's like,
how much is Golden Corral per person right now?
It's like $14. But
okay,
the kids will eat free. My kids will eat free.
Wait till they turn like everything's a fortune.
Oh,
when
I know.
You have teenagers.
I don't really even like Golden Corrals, but like she said, we can go there, and my kids were absolutely out of control. I felt bad for the people sitting around us, and it really wasn't that many. We went in the back corner of the store, of the restaurant. My son was, once he gets the sugar in him,
he gets wound up.
He can't control it. He's like Cornholio. He's like a nutcase. He runs around like a bat out of hell. He owns the place. And of course, all the waitresses think he's adorable. So no one's yelling at him. They're letting him do whatever he wants. I'm taking him to the dessert bar after he's done. After we eat the regular food, he wants an ice cream cone.
Of course.
He likes to stick his fingers in the machines. Like, get the ice. I'm like, Logan, get your dirty fingers out of the machine.
Yeah, the health department shut you right down. Yeah. He likes to use the machine and like make the swirl himself, or
yeah. Well, I don't let him do that. He does the Slurpee machine at 7-Eleven. It's scary enough. Luckily, the people there think he's funny.
Blast into sugar between the ice cream and the.
I found out. I didn't know. He's a nut. We can't give him that much sugar. He goes crazy. He literally goes out of his mind, and it has some kind of a different effect on kids. Yeah, it's like a drug-like effect on the kids. You would swear he's on caffeine. You'd swear it, and he gets almost like he actually gets like this maniacal look in his eyes when he's doing it too. Like he knows. Like, but I will say one thing. He's officially potty trained. I had a.
Oh, congratulations! Yeah. That's a milestone.
Yeah, he was doing the peepees. He was scared to do the poopies on the potty. The bribes was so high. The bribe list was so high that I can't believe he turned it down. But he's like my dad. You can't bribe him. He has to do it on his own. So he finally does the poopies in the potty. So now I got it.
What would you try to bribe him with? If you use the potty, you'll give him like sugar or something.
Hulk. The Hulk dolls. He loves I said I'm going to buy you every Hulk doll.
That's because he knows you're going to. You know what? He knows you're going to get him every Hulk doll regardless. What we were doing is we weren't getting him anything. We were trying to starve him out. We were like, no 7-Eleven after school, no Slurpees. You're coming straight home. There's no more toys. And that's why you use this little plastic potty.
Well, no, he doesn't like the plastic potty. He wanted to put the seat on the big potty. Mm-hmm. So I think Amanda got him to do it, and yeah, she got him to do it, and he did it once. We're like high fiving him and everything like that, and he did it again the same day. So I said, okay, I'm buying you Hulk. So I went and bought these 4 Hulk dolls, the most expensive ones, like $40 each.
It cost you $160 to get them on the can one time.
Yeah, it was worth it, believe me. It's definitely worth it. So 2 of them, or 1 had come yesterday, and then 2 came in the mail today. The Ultimate Hulk came in the mail today. That's the Hulk that's gray. And he's the most powerful Hulk because they've taken Captain America's blood, and whatever's in the super serum that's in his blood, and they've given it to the Hulk, and the Hulk
burned up insects.
The Hulk went from green to gray. So he's got the Ultimate Hulk. He's got one of the green Hulks, like a big one. I got like a really high end one from. So he's losing his mind with the Hulks. And the other thing we promised him was a playhouse. Although I think he forgot about the playhouse. Thank God, since all the Hulks have been coming in the mail.
Well, your whole house is like a playhouse to him.
Yeah. He's got more toys
Of course he does.
And it's not a lot of toys, but he's got high quality toys. Like, I'm like, Logan,
Expensive stuff.
do you know that? Yeah, do you know that most kids have 0 Hulks? You've got like 15 of them here.
Yeah, they have no toys. Not no toys, but
The truth is, I actually like the Hulk, so I'm glad he
of course,
enjoys
we're living
it.
vicariously.
Yeah.
All the stuff he wanted.
I'm like, can I play with that thing a little bit? It's pretty cool. He's like, no, he doesn't. He doesn't want me to play with any of his dolls or any of his action figures, I should say. And if we go and play sports, he doesn't want me to do anything. Like, I'm not allowed to hit the baseball or throw the football. It's only him. He doesn't want to be outshined by me. I'm like, let me hit that ball off the tee. He goes, no, that's mine. It's mine. So, yeah, that was my exciting weekend. Potty training Logan. Who needs to go to Dubai? I could potty train my kids.
You need to go to Dubai. They're waiting for you. Yeah, there's the answer.
Oh shit!
You go to Dubai.
I bet they got cockroach milk there.
How's that?
They probably have cockroach milk there. Why don't you go with Sid? You did a great job with Sid at the Olympia.
No, I said I didn't. I need some. I can't like jump and go next week. When is it?
No, it's in December.
I'll be in Florida.
Oh, when are you coming to Florida? Oh yeah, that's right. You go to Florida every
I
December.
think I don't even know. Middle of December to January. Kids will flunk out of school. They're going to miss so much. Yeah. That's the problem with not being homeschooled.
I know that now you have to you can't miss that much, right?
Yeah, you can't miss that much.
They'll arrest you.
That's the year before they were
Chris
homeschooled.
Aceto in chains for keeping his kids out of school. Plus, they don't want to miss it anymore. They probably enjoy it now, right?
Yeah, they do. They'll
be like, Dad, you go to Florida. We'll just.
Well, that's exactly what they want to do. We'll man the house. We'll take care of the house. It'll be like
14 years old. They're manning the house. Yeah. Oh. And you know what? When they get to about 17, you'll be leaving them. Believe me. You'll be like, later. I'm 60. I'm going to freaking Florida. You guys can stay up here in the freezing cold. You can go to school. You can pay all the bills. You can shovel the walk. I'm going to Florida.
Well, they shovel the walk now, so.
That's one thing I don't miss being in Florida.
Oh, you mean, shoveling snow?
Yeah. I noticed my wife looks at your wife's Instagram, and she noticed you guys were wearing jackets, so it must be getting cool there.
Yeah, it was 52 today.
It was like 90 here today. We were sweating to death. The kids were in the pool. So warm.
I saw Cape Coral was. Is it Cape Coral?
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah, number one place for seniors to retire. So that's your pace right now, Dave.
That's my pace, right?
Number one place in the U.S. for seniors to retire. So you're going to get more 65-year-olds. You're going to have to come up with some type of nutritional product for older 65 people. Plus. You can sell it at, I guess everywhere there.
Did I tell you I'm coming out with an energy drink?
You did. Well, you told me you were toying with one.
Yeah, I'm playing around with it. You know who I got working on the design for it? I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm not messing around. Jerry Beck.
Jack Owack.
Jerry Beck.
Who's Jerry Beck?
Iron Sound. He did our logo for the Heavy Muscle radio show. The one.
Oh, you mean working on the logo?
I'm doing a logo. I want to make a logo. I figured, you know what? I'm thinking about an energy drink can, and I'm like, you can't just write words on it because it looks too medicinal. That's what my dad would say. It looks too antiseptic. I think images is what makes people compel. Like you ever see Monster Energy? It's like a scratch mark. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, did you know that Monster Energy drink was originally like they've been around since the 1930s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did juices they used to do.
I didn't know
and
that.
The guy who started it, I guess his family, then they decided they did this energy drink.
Let me check their stock. They're on the public.
Yeah, they're publicly traded. And Coca-Cola owns 16% of them, which is a majority share, I believe.
Their stock was just roaring for years. Yeah. Monster stock.
They came out with a new energy drink called Reign, REIGN. And you see it in 7-Eleven and everything. It's like a performance version of their Monster. It's got like electrolytes and amino acids. That's what I'm coming out with, something like that, more along those lines. But yeah, images. I think images sell drinks. So Jerry's working on a cool image for me. I said, I'm going to the best. Did you know that Jerry Beck is, first of all, you know who I'm talking about, the Iron Asylum guy?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Jerry Beck is probably one of the most gifted artists I ever met. He's colorblind. Did you know that?
Well, that explains our black and white logo.
Yeah, right. He doesn't color anything. I never understood why. He has a guy who, if you want something colored, you go to him and he takes Jerry's pictures and colors them because Jerry can't see colors, which I find very interesting. The universe, God, whatever you want to say, imbues this person with these amazing abilities to draw. And he says, but by the way, you're not going to be able to see colors, though. You'd have to do everything black and white. I find that really amusing. It's like one of these.
You get the talent of being able to draw in the first place. Just didn't know how to,
It's just interesting, though, the talents that people have, and they're so maybe if he was able to see color, he wouldn't be as gifted as an artist.
Yeah.
Who knows? The brain does weird things when you start modifying it a little bit. It's just great. It's like I breed snakes, obviously, and certain snakes, you can get a snake that has the most amazing colors, and it's neurologically weird. It'll just corkscrew its head for no reason, but it looks beautiful. Eats great, breeds well. It's got a kooky head. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't like the kookiness, then you're not going to be able to get those beautiful colors into these snakes that you're breeding. So some people don't like them, and there's this school of thought of people, you shouldn't breed them. And the other people say, who cares? They eat well. They breed. They're happy. They're not in pain. Who cares?
Well, how do we know? Did this one ask them if they're in pain? Or?
Well, I mean, I think you can tell if an animal's in distress.
That's true. You can tell generally. I would
they wouldn't be eating and they wouldn't be eating and breeding if they were in pain. So
they'd need meds if they were in pain. Like
it's like someone who has a little tick. A little tick. They can be very, or even you have autistic kids that that are very, very talented in one direction, but they have a deficit in another direction. So we all have our own abilities. I always wondered, you see these movies like X-Men. Do you think at some point in the future we're all going to have like special abilities? Or there'll be people with special abilities, like real special abilities?
I do. You know what? I do.
I do too.
Because I always think this. You know what? I look back at pictures of all the time. It's fine. I love nostalgic pictures of like the 50s, 40s, 20s. And you go back and you see like 1920, like what a farmland Miami Beach was.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And I mean, it's not a long time ago.
No.
And there's people alive from, let's say, the 30s, right? 90 years ago today that, I mean, look at the advancement in everything in that 90-year period. So who's to say? And things are just getting, just like a computer chip every year, or computers get faster and faster every year exponentially. And you can store more on a computer chip every, 4 years, whatever it is. An exponential amount of info can be stored on it. Just what people are capable of. I mean, it's the change year over year or over a 10-year period is exponential. So whenever someone says, "Well, do you think this is going to happen?" I always say, "Yeah." Do you think we could? I took from my 6-year-old today a flip phone. We were using those not too long ago.
You were using them probably
no.
Like
I mean, come on,
week.
You were using one not too long ago, right? And then, well, who's the first person you ever text, or what year did you start texting a lot? It was from a stupid flip phone.
We would text from remember the beepers? Remember you turn it upside down? You'd hit hello.
Well, yeah.
No, the beeper was the first texting. Because you could put a number in it.
I mean, more recently, where you could send like a text.
Remember the beeper? No one even knows what we're talking about.
No, because that was
you would dial a phone number and you'd put the number and it would go beep beep beep.
Yeah. Doctors use them.
And then the person would get on their beeper, the number would pop up, and then you have to call the person back. You'd have to find them if it was a steroid thing, you'd have to find a payphone and call them back. You wouldn't call from their house phone. And then on my house phone, I was always every click and little anything I heard on my thing, we would think the phones were tapped. Phones are tapped. You hear that clicking? Hear that clicking sound? No, I don't hear the clicking. Yeah, listen. Just
That's someone joined on the other line.
yeah. We would think the phones would tap. We were paranoid because they could tap things. Little do we know that the tapping capabilities nowadays is probably 1,000 times easier than back then. They actually had to get a warrant to tap your phone. You had to be like an arch criminal to get your phone tapped back then. All right, that's it. Congratulations to Nathan De Asha, Juan Morel, and On Win. And, of course, Hide Yamagishi for winning that 212 division, qualifying for the Olympia early. And in 2 weeks, we got Romania, and there's a lot of great stuff happening still in the bodybuilding world. And then, of course, we're going to probably end the year with the Nationals. And the Dubai show will probably be the last show of the year. We go all the way into December. I think pretty soon there's going to be no break. It'll be Christmas for a week, and then boom, right into the first of the year we'll be having shows. So that's all she wrote. Until next week, guys, remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
The truth hurts.
see you next week.